Kickoff starts now.
Let's get right into it. Starting off with the top regular season record in the NFL last year, going 14-2, the Baltimore Ravens. You want me to start off with my prediction for them? So, like I said, the Baltimore Ravens were the top regular season team last year with the emergence of MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson, and they seem to not much has changed in their offense or defense this year, but one major thing that really started yesterday was Earl Thomas, which, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of drama going on right now with the Ravens and Earl Thomas, who is their Pro Bowl safety. It seems like that they might actually kick him off the team after there were some scuttles going on in practice. So I think that can cause a lot of drama. And I also we'll get into the other teams in this division later, but I actually expect, because of that, I expect somewhat of a downfall for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's why I actually have them going 11-5 this year, which is still a great record, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a significant drop from last year, and a significant games that they have. I have the Cowboys beating them, and I don't think anything else that crazy. I have the New England Patriots beating them. Sorry if I went on too long there.
So just to clarify, but Earl Thomas was released.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was surprised that he was released. But okay, similar to you. The Baltimore Ravens are a great team, and I have them going far in the playoffs. But I really think that they're going to decline a bit in the regular season. I think that they're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs week 3, which is going to be a huge game on Monday Night Football.
It's a great game. I had the Chiefs over the Ravens there, but I can see where you're coming from with that.
And I think that they're just going to be a few games. Like, I think they're going to lose to Cleveland one time. I think they're going to lose to Dallas, Tennessee.
Yeah, they actually lost to Cleveland last year, so that pick isn't.
I think I'll get them at a record of 11-5.
Oh, okay. So,
but they're not winning my division. They don't win the AFC South for me. You'll see.
Oh, okay. We'll see. Okay, so now next team, if we're going alphabetically here, would be the Cleveland Browns. I'll go first. I'll just go first on everyone in the AFC North, and then you can go first on everyone in the South and so on, okay? So, Cleveland Browns, one of the most highly hyped up teams in 2019. We've talked about this. They had an amazing roster with some of the best wide receiver corps, like Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, and Baker Mayfield, who after his rookie season was looking great, and also a stout defense with Myles Garrett and
Ward. They have a very
Ward. Exactly. So they were looking very stacked, and they were kind of everyone's sleeper pick. And I say that with quotations because so many people had them as sleepers that I don't even know if it counts anymore. But they truly disappointed last year, as every NFL fan knows, finishing the season with a record of, I'm not even sure, but I think it was like 6-10 around.
Sounds right.
This year, I anticipate a bit more of a bounce back and some hope in Cleveland, but not too much. I still think they'll need a bit more time to progress, although they do have one of the best rosters in football. That's why I have them going 7-9 this year. One of their significant wins would be, I don't know. I can't even find. I think that I have them winning a lot of the easy games, I guess. I have them over the Indianapolis Colts. So I think that's the best team I have them beating.
I also have them over the Indianapolis Colts. I have them going 9-7.
Okay.
They have, the thing is, what I think what's great about them is they hired Kevin Stefanski, who is the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. And what he's great at is he makes bad or okay quarterbacks look good, because what they do is they run the ball a lot and then throw it off of play action. Won't that work perfect for the Browns? Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, 2 great running backs. Baker Mayfield on the run, throwing it to Jarvis Landry and OBJ. Sounds like a great equation. The only reason why I'm boosting them so much, I think they'll go 9-7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because they're the Browns. I know it's just such a stupid reason to.
Oh, yeah, I do understand that, though.
But the Browns have such a terrible ownership, and it goes when you have such terrible owners and such terrible culture, it goes back down to your players. It's nearly impossible for a Browns team, no matter how good they'll be, to be successful just because of how terrible their owners are and how terribly they're managed.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a few good seasons, and I think that for Browns, it was looking like the curse was going to end last year, and it clearly didn't. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Right now we're pretty much agreeing. I hope that we can get in some arguments at some point, but I'll let it come, and I'm not going to do anything artificially. So moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year, one of the worst teams in football, and now, of course, they drafted Joe Burrow, who is one of my favorite quarterbacks ever coming out of college. Oren would have something to say about that since he thinks that Tua is going to be better this year, but that's fine. He'll talk about that himself. I think a lot of the people have Cincinnati going like being one of the worst teams in football. I agree with that, but I still have them going 5-11 because I think that people are underrating this offense. It's got Joe Burrow, who I think will do great in his rookie season, and he's got great weapons around him like Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and AJ Green. So I think that offense alone will allow the Bengals to steal some games from teams who maybe weren't expecting it. I've got them beating the Cleveland Browns, and then also some easy games. I've got them over the Giants, over the the Washington football team, the Dolphins. So I've got them going 5-11, nothing too significant, but people after this season, I think Cincinnati fans should be hopeful.
So I think that Cincinnati, I don't think they're an amazing team. I think that they have a good future, but they have a terrible defense. They
do have a terrible defense. Yeah, I will agree with that.
They really lack in that, and their offense, I don't think, will be elite enough to be able to carry their defense. Like, I don't know if they'll even be a top 10 offense. They have Mixon, but they have a terrible offensive line. Like, terrible.
Yeah, but also, okay, Joe Burrow. I think I might be just overhyping Joe Burrow here, but I really do love this guy. And he has a great ability to make something out of nothing, as I was saying last week, and he's great on the scramble. So I really have confidence in his ability to, even if there's a bad offensive line, I think he can make something out of nothing and at least generate enough offensive value to steal some games from and teams that aren't even great.
Yeah, and I think that what's so great about the Bengals is that they're not good, but they're for sure able to steal games, like you said.
That's what's great about the Bengals. Yeah, I think I'm saying they have enough weapons that they will take some games. Like, they're not completely depleted like some other teams that we'll discuss. So that's why I have them going there.
Yeah, I think that the Bengals, I have them going 4-12 just for the fact that Joe Burrow is going to be a slight improvement over what they had last year. And what did they go? They went maybe 1-15, something terrible. But I think that just Burrow is going to be able to win them 2 or 3 games. I think towards the end of the year, they'll improve greatly after that.
Yeah, they went 2-14 last season.
Yeah.
But moving on now, you said that you had you didn't have the Ravens winning the division. So clearly you've got the Steelers winning the division. And guess what, Oren? So do I. Which is kind of annoying because I'm sure that you had that as some bold prediction. And
yeah.
After all of me hating on you about picking Ben Roethlisberger to win Comeback Player of the Year. But to me, I thought about it, and it just kind of clearly obvious. Clearly obvious, that's a little bit redundant, but it was clear in my mind what would go on with the Steelers. They have one of the most stacked defenses this year with Minkah Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt, two guys who Minkah Fitzpatrick played incredibly well in just like half a season when he was traded to the Steelers last year. TJ Watt is a rising star waiting to break out. And then as for this offense, their head coach was able to take them to 500 when they were without their starting quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. And they've still got Juju Smith-Schuster, who I think is a solid wide receiver who's, lost a little bit of the hype after last year. James Conner is a good running back, and Ben Roethlisberger. So they still got a pretty solid offense. And their head coach, whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Mike Tomlin.
Thank you. Mike Tomlin has never the Steelers have never been under 500 with Mike Tomlin, which is a statistic that I found very interesting. So that's why I have the Steelers going 12-4 this season over the Baltimore Ravens, and I have them winning 1 out of 2 of the games against the Ravens. Okay.
So what I think is so interesting about the Steelers, I have them having the same record as the Ravens. I have them going 11-5. Okay. But I have them having, I think, the tiebreaker just for the fact that they go 5-1 in the division, while the Ravens go 4-2.
Yeah, I had them at 5-1 in the division as well.
And I think the Ravens won one game and the Steelers won the other.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is so interesting is that what are the Steelers' real holes? They have a very elite defense who, even if they do regress from last year, because it's hard to maintain consistently dominant defenses, even if they regress from 1 to maybe 4 or 5, still a ridiculous defense.
They had the number 1 defense last year.
Probably number 1, 2, or maybe 3, somewhere around
Not
that.
number 1. I'll tell you that because the Patriots are number 1. You're forgetting about the
Yeah.
Pats.
Yeah. Top 3.
Okay.
Top 4. Maybe they regress to 7. But still, my point is that even in worst case scenario, they regress to 7. They have Roethlisberger, who's a solid quarterback, solid weapons. They got Eric Ebron, and they have James Conner, who's a solid running back, a great offensive line. I mean, what holes do they really have? A great coach?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really see a reason for them to be bad.
The only way that I see the Steelers regressing is Ben Roethlisberger is old and injured, like I was saying a little while ago, and this offense has always been pretty great, but I don't like it's not as good as it's been years prior when they had Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. So I think this offense if this offense takes a turn for the worse, then I could see them. They could still be pretty good, but they wouldn't be winning the division or anything. So I think the worst case scenario is that the Steelers offense does not play to its potential, and that's one way, like one hole or whatever you'd like to say.
Yeah. I see that as a whole of theirs because they could not play up to their potential, but it still really doesn't matter. I see them as a team that's more of a – I know it's crazy because the Steelers, I feel like, are a team that people aren't predicting. I'm not saying I'm predicting to do well, but some people are like they're an underdog team.
Yeah.
And I can't really see doing that bad. I can't see them going under 500.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of a bet.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video.
Or, if you're a Packers fan, remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.